What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Mission Fishing Live. I'm your host, Muto. How's everybody doing tonight? Glad you could join us. Got a pretty good show today. Hopefully, you think it's a good show. We're going to talk over submission at sea, kind of how it went, and more importantly, we kind of segue into that and see why you got to learn jigs. You know, why live bait's not always the key. So I think that's an important thing. A little bit in the news, yeah, and just some things to look out for. Yellowtail, other things coming in. So I think it should be a good one. So glad you can join us. If we're having delay, let me know. I can just switch. I could switch channels. I got the dual stream going just in case. Well, we'll see what happens. Welcome everybody. Let's see who's in the house. Arnie, number one. Oos, how's it? Live from Palomar Hospital. Hopefully everything's okay. Oh, I'm not the one hurt this time. Good. That's good to hear. Cal, Oos. Welcome, Cal. Cave Dog. Glad you could join us. Great fishing with you. SoCal Steve. Oos, welcome to the show. All good. Damn, you believe that? See, it's one of those things. I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting feedback here. I don't know what changed. Same setup, same everything. But I've got the backup just in case, but I don't think we're going to need it. But that's good. I like using this mic better. Let's see here. Where do we leave off? Benji Moreno, Oos, welcome to the show. Good fishing with you, Benji. Glad you could join us. SoCal, we already got you. Just saying what's up to everybody. Pohukai, Oos, what's going on, man? Welcome. Glad you could join us. TB Metal Art Todd, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Thank you for giving out the gift. For those of you guys that don't know, everybody didn't catch a yellowtail on our trip. We had one lucky winner. Everybody got entered into a pool, and then their name got drawn. And Todd was gonna make them a piece of art. If you don't know, he made this piece back here, the live submission fishing jig. I keep wanting to call it live, but it's bigger than life size. It's like probably 1,000 times bigger than a normal jig. But go check out his work, tvmetalart.com. If you guys want to buy something, immortalize that catch you got. He does awesome work. So thank you, Todd, for that. Super kind. Let's see who else we got in the house. Graham, Oos, welcome to the show. Captain Dan, North County, Oos, welcome everyone. Captain Dan, another one. Thank you so much, man. He made pizzas, grinded them out all week. Then we made them during the boat, man. We microwaved it, made it work, and they were still awesome, man. Even your keto pizza, I did enjoy. And I got the other ones here, so I froze them, waiting for cheat day. But Captain Dan, that was awesome. Thank you again. So cool. Yeah, Graham knows what's up. Leonard Oos, welcome to the show. Leonard, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Not here on the show, but like just in general. You're going on the pickle run, though, right? Maybe we'll see you then. Let's see here. Cave Dog Cal. Down in SD. Oos, Roy, what's going on, man? Cal, what was Cave Dog saying? Oh, I wonder how Mudo's. Yeah. Is it still there? Well, you guys. Oh, yeah. I see somebody's prayers for Florida. My house is trashed in Florida, completely flooded out. We're in St. Augustine. If you look on the news, you'll see. I don't know if it's flooded out for sure, but we're on the. I've seen pictures. So just from Facebook, we can't get in. So we're on Anastasia Island. We're on the back, that northeastern part where it hit. And I saw, like, just from like Facebook and things like that, somebody I know who's in our, not that I know, but their house is in St. Augustine in the same neighborhood. She was showing videos of her house. Probably she had 2 feet of water up to her knees. She stayed, I guess. But I've seen pictures of downtown St. Augustine. The whole city's underwater. Like I said, the bridge. So there's 2 bridges. The bridges are closed to get into to Anastasia Island. That's where my house is. So nobody can really get there. We do have friends in St. Augustine, but they have no way to get out there. But I don't have high hopes. I'm pretty sure it's trashed and flooded. I mean, it has to be, just from the pictures I've seen. I don't know if there's any hope. You know, we paid a company to go out there. They boarded everything up. They put sandbags out, but as high as the water got, like, it was, people are saying that, you know, and this is the oldest city in America, St. Augustine is, and they've been there forever. The house is going to be okay. It's a block house. It's made for hurricanes, but I'm sure everything inside is probably just freaking destroyed. It has to be. So I'm preparing for that. it'd be a miracle if it's not. Like I said, I've seen houses that I know were in the area. People were sending pictures of the streets, and they were just like boats were like going over the seawall, uh, floating downtown. So I think then it receded, and I think so. Like low tide came, and a lot of it the flooding receded, but then it's probably hitting right now. High tide again is at 11 p.m. So probably 11 and 12. After today, it should be good, but I mean we'll see. I might have to run down there and so if I fly out there in the next couple weeks, I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I honestly don't, but I'm expecting it just got completely destroyed based on what I've seen. So I'm just kind of waiting, but I've prepared myself. I've kind of accepted the fact that it's house is pretty much toast. The house itself is fine. But I'm assuming everything in it is got to be gone just from what I've seen. So that sucks, but we're still alive. You know what? In the end, um, I can't complain because there's people that live there that don't have anywhere else to go. I mean, for me, it's a vacation house. It is a business. It's Airbnb, so I'm gonna have loss of income there and stuff. But ultimately, the videos I've seen are like people that live there. I mean, and they're just like literally living in the house with like 2 feet of water. And then this lady was crying, and she was like, she had nowhere to go. She had nowhere to leave. You can't get off the island once you're there because the drawbridge they lift on the Bridge of Lions, and then the other one they just close down. So if you're there, you're there, and if you don't have a place to go, and she was saying the same thing, right? It's like it is what it is. She still loves living there. She loves Florida, but at least I have a place to go. Sure, the house is wrecked, but I'm still here with my family in California. I'm not in danger, right? And there's other people that live there, their primary resident, like that's where they live. For me, it's a nice place to go, but um, place I might live in the future. But a lot of these people really lost their homes, and it's their only home, and it's the only place they live, and that's a lot harder, right? So it's like it sucks on one end, and it's like kind of frustrating, but I can still count my blessings that I'm not there. It could always be worse, and you got to put it in perspective. Like it's it certainly sucks, but we'll get through it. We'll figure it out. It's just gonna be a lot of work. How that's gonna go. It's just I'm sure insurance is gonna be backed up. I'm sure contractors are gonna be hard to find. So I don't know how it's gonna go. I've never had a house flooded out, but like I said, there might be a miracle, but I'm based on what I've seen pictures of the neighborhood. I don't think there's any way the sandbags and stuff went in there. But we're still here, still doing the show, and we're safe. That's the biggest thing, right? I mean, stuff can be replaced, houses can be fixed, and that's just it is what it is. For a lot of people, there are people that have died, so it's a lot worse. I really can't complain about just property damage. Blessed more than anything. So you just got to keep it in perspective. Arnie Senko with the super sticker. Ooh, thank you, Arnie. Really appreciate it. That'll go to the the dry out fund for the Florida house. Yeah, that's crazy. So I mean, I guess we'll keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, if you guys check out St. Augustine. You guys look on Facebook and stuff. It's in the news. It got hit pretty hard today and then yesterday too. Rolling Rods, new member. Hey, thanks for becoming a member, man. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. Glad you could join us. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. We'll put it to good use. Let's see. Who else did I miss here? Dario Oos, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Louis Mendoza, glad to see you back, man. Fernando Oos, welcome. Jesse Brummett Oos. John Escobar Oos, welcome. Let's see here. Brian likes to fish. What's going on, man? Glad you could join us. Bartel Parks, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Fishing reps out there selling some jigs. What's going on, Kevin? Welcome back. Let's see. Doug Rubin. Oos, welcome. Salty Dangler. Welcome back. Lots of people in. I don't know. I got to catch up. TB Metal Art, dude. Todd. Thank you so much for the super sticker, dude. $50. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's gonna go to the that'll go to the fund for right now. It'll probably be in the flight fund, man. Something because me and my wife were talking. We got the freaking 11-month or 11-week-old, so I'm like, maybe I'll fly out. I don't think we could all fly out, so I'm probably gonna have to go out there and do it. No, you don't need to start a fund for me, Doug. I appreciate it, but that's we got it, man. We'll figure it out. Max Kim, Oos, welcome to the show. Glad you can join us. Yeah, welcome, guys. Everybody that doesn't know, we had submission at sea. Basically, we had a charter together, so we had a lot of these guys go. Hopefully, you had a good time. I mean, I had a blast. We'll go over that later. But I thought it was a fun trip. The bite was kind of tough. It was. I think we have 7 or 8 yellowtails, something like that. Yeah, a lot of bycatch, rockfish, some lean cods and stuff. But we'll really get into that. Show some pictures. But I had a really good time. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it as well. I thought it was really good. Just fishing with you guys, and it's crazy how it kind of goes on and off, right? How it blows up and stuff, and the pelagic fishing is totally different. So it's good stuff. Ooh, Stanny Perez, welcome. Glad you could join us. Yeah, flying out there, right? That's gonna be flying with the tools. That'll be a whole nother thing. I do got some good tools, though. Do got some good tools. Let's see. In the news, one thing, there's not too much in the news wise, except there's, for those of you guys that like aren't paying attention, there was some white shark regulations that were passed, and I'll put the link in here. There was some new bill that was signed protecting white sharks, which is kind of interesting. So when you say white sharks, we're basically talking about great white sharks. They're already protected. You already can't fish them. So some of this stuff is kind of doesn't really make sense. And we're still kind of learning more about it. I know Captain Dan tipped me off to this, so I appreciate that. And one of the bigger things is the rule changes have nothing to do with the catching the sharks, because like I said, you already can't catch the sharks, but a lot of it might affect fishermen because you won't be able to chum, like chumming and lures and stuff like that are kind of things that they've changed. Like within a mile of beach or piers, when there's apparently a blue shark is sighted, is my understanding, is that if there's a blue shark in the area, or not blue shark, a white shark in the area, you can't chum, use baits, or anything to attract sharks. So I don't know how that's going to work. Like I know people like Coach. So I don't know if it says shark bait, but I don't know how you differentiate that. If you're fishing a mile from shore and you're chumming, and if there's a great white in the vicinity, they're saying you can't do that from piers or anything, or even from the shore. So I don't know. Even if it's not shark bait, this is what's unclear. If you're just fishing for perch and calico and stuff like that, are you not allowed to chum when a white shark is seen? So we're kind of keeping an eye on this. I'm not really sure what the whole point was. I think because there's been lots of like attacks and spotting or sightings and stuff near shore. So just keep an eye on this. I put the link in there for you guys. Yeah, but some white shark changes. I'm trying to see if we can see the part in here where it talks about the miles. Here we go. Anglers. So yeah, anglers should note new rules regarding take of white sharks. But there's no take of the white shark. I mean, I don't know what that's all about. Goes into effect on January 1st, 2023. So this is coming up in January. These rules found in California Fish and Game Code section 5517 prohibit the use, here it is, of shark bait, shark lures, or shark chum to attract a white shark. Anglers may also not place those items in the water within 1 nautical mile of any shoreline, pier, or jetty when a white shark is visible or known to be present. It's like one of those things is like, what the hell does that mean? It's such a broad terminology that the thing is, it says white shark bait or shark bait. But I mean, what is chum? Like, I don't know. I guess you just say you're not chumming for sharks. I don't know how it's going to work. It's just some more nonsense that gets put in from the state. So that's something that got pushed through. So just be aware of that. I don't know if it's going to affect any of you guys directly. I don't know if we have much shark fishermen in here. But just something to be aware of. So that goes in effect the 1st of next year. So we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, if stuff changes, we'll be the first to know here at Submission Fishing Live. Your number one news source for fishing news. see here. Almost 9 yellowtail. Salty, it breaks my heart. Yeah, dude, they've been out there. Right. Okay, so Captain Dan, CCA is asking for clarification as it seems so vague. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's of course it's stupid. It was written by people that don't fish. It's like I don't understand what the point of this is, but unfortunately it's can only really be a negative thing for anglers, I feel like. I feel like there's such a small amount of people that would attempt to hook a white shark in the first place. Seems like they're addressing based on complaints, which isn't a good thing. Yeah, I don't doesn't make any sense, right? Like the anglers are the ones bringing in the white sharks and causing the issue. It's like it's so absurd, so stupid. But that's what we get, man. It's just stupid laws. If they can tie anglers' hands, they're gonna do everything they can. I mean, to hurt fishermen. And that's just the truth, unfortunately. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing is there's not much to when you read it. There's not much to like why are they doing it or clarification. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Like you're like, okay, I didn't know this. I didn't know this was a problem. I didn't know this was the thing. But somebody came up with it and got it pushed through. Caught us when we were sleeping. Pain in the ass. Any Instagram questions? Graham just had a comment. Yeah, he said questions is yellowtail. Apparently, there's been some half days popping off. The yellowtail been blowing up like crazy. So the yellowtail guys are going to start um, to come in. So they start to move up from Mexico, and then they move into the islands. So Coronado Islands, Channel Islands. So we're talking like Catalina, and then parts of the coastline like La Jolla and stuff like that. Wherever there's like a reefy bottom, and then kelp, heavy kelp beds, reefy bottoms, and island bottoms and stuff like that. The big yellowtail start to come in. So um, usually when the water cools down a little bit, you get those big ones. So that's where you're starting to see the big fish. And if you've ever noticed, the big ones come around shore too. So that's why if you've ever seen somebody catch a yellowtail at the islands, at La Jolla, they're never like tiny yellowtail, right? You hear the term uh, patty yellows all the time, and when it means they've caught it on a kelp patty, but it also means that the fish was small. If you guys watched the yellowtail special I did with me and Kevin on here, if you guys want to go back and look at that, it was a live show. But the yellowtail, they when they're born and stuff, and they live out to sea when they're deep. They live under the kelp patties. They use them for shelter, and they eat from the patties. So the little fish they school up, and that's actually how they protect themselves. They school around. They eat plankton and the small crap that comes off the kelp. Then they grow up. They eat the bait fish. So whenever you see somebody say, "Oh, I got some patty yellows," they're usually small yellowtails. That's because they're young and juvenile. That's just how they live. It like you catch patty yellows and they're usually not big. We call them rat yellows. I've caught like 4 of them just this year. Kept one that was a decent size, but tossed the other ones back. But whenever you go to the islands, you see the beast. I mean, the like the big ones we were catching. That's because when they grow up, they come in. They still run it. They run as smaller schools, uh, but they run together, almost like the spotties. You know, their size. The little ones don't run with the big ones. So the big ones come in, but they leave offshore. It's interesting. When they're small and they're growing up, they live offshore. And then when they start growing and becoming adults, and they're fast growing fish, guys. So they grow up quick and then they come in shore. And that's another thing too, is that the fish grow so big. A lot of these juveniles um, that were out in the water, they're adults now. You know, they grow probably like 2 feet a year or something. So if they're out there for a year already this summer, they've probably grown enough to then start coming into the shore. So now's a good time to hit the islands and stuff like that, guys. La Jolla is probably going to be pretty good um, if they're there, unless they choose to just stick around the islands. But now that's why you're starting to see the big ones. They move up during the winter, and that's what Graham was saying. I guess a half day boat was it the new Seaforth? I think on a half day they went out and got a whole bunch of yellowtails. So be on the lookout for them. They're definitely out there. It's good stuff. So the fishing's starting to change. I know Kevin was saying we should do another submission at sea, like at a quick turnaround, like April, May, because that's when apparently that yellowtail fishing gets really good, like when it starts to get cold and stuff like that. And then the tuna bites coming back on too, and then the deep jigging and night fishing for tuna and stuff like that. So just something to be aware of. Some of the big boys are coming back. Big yellowtail are starting to move in. Little rat yellows are getting pushed out as the patties disappear. As the water starts to cool, they're going to start to disappear, and then look out for those big boys, man. That's exciting. Those things are fun. You guys still saw some of them on Submission at Sea. Yeah, super exciting. Let's see. Got a fly drone. Looking for a man in the gray suit. What is that regards to? The sharks? Yeah, and people don't fish make the rules. Yeah, but it says if you're, I guess I can't bleed out my tuna. What Richie Rich is saying, but you're not chumming for sharks. Like it says specifically chumming for sharks. That's what doesn't make sense. So you'd be like, okay, well, I'm not chumming for. Nobody's chumming for sharks. Like nobody does that. Like that's not for white sharks. Like that's not a thing. But for sharks in general, and it's only if they're within a mile or something like that. So you can do it. But if there's one spotted, then it's like, oh, then you can't do it. Like it's already in the area. Who cares? Yo, Chinator Oos, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Got about 10 yellowtail in my garage. Metal ones or real ones? Follow Hoya yellowtail fishing. Gatekeepers lurking. Hell yeah, dude. Welcome to the show, Andres. Glad you could join us. Yeah, I do. you just seen the ones that we caught. There was some greenback looking old dudes were pulled up, man. Some beasts. Hope they moved to Point. Maybe. I mean, I doubt it, but you never know. Yo-yoing at the Coronados is so fun. Yeah, it's a good time. Always a decent size. 1.5 bluefin or bust. So you didn't want to mess with the yellows. You're talking straight bluefin trip. I mean, I'm down. Yeah, you guys are all in. Maybe we'll do another one. You guys let me know. Give me your feedback on Submission to Sea. What'd you like? What you didn't like? You can even email me, whatever. Change this. Don't change that. It was the first one, so we definitely got room for improvement. I know the 1.5 days probably be a little harder, a little more expensive, but if you guys want to get on tuna and night fishing, it's pretty good. Day and a half, so you can get out there too, pretty far. So yeah, Submission at Sea. We went out. We just went on a day trip. And went down to Mexico, did some fishing, basically yellowtail fishing. A lot of the patty stuff was a little too far out, unless you want to go on a 5-hour ride. That was kind of the option. Maybe limit out on 2 dodos, fish for like 30 minutes, and then come back home. So we opted just to stick around a little closer and do some fishing. And we got some pictures here. Bring these up. I know a lot of you guys have seen these things, but share for people that haven't seen. There we go. This one's me, obviously. Got a nice yellowtail. I think I had the first one hooked. I got them when they were on the bottom. I got that classic slow pitch yellowtail. I was just working it really soft. Pretty nice size. I was happy with that one. And that was one of the smaller ones that we caught, but just right off the bottom. I mean, sucked it probably right close to the ground. There we go. Dondo's Fishing. Andres, he's right here in the chat. He got a nice ling. Was that the 220 or the one? That looks like a 220. Good size ling. That was a keeper. Nice blue one. So that was some of the bycatch we were fishing the bottom because we were looking for the yellowtail on the bottom, but these were some of the fish we were catching between. There's a ling that I caught. There's Captain Bill for the Malahini. He's the one that took us out, and that was my ling caught I got, and that was the same jig I caught the yellowtail on. So that was pretty cool. That's one of the things I love about slow pitching. It's like whatever, it'll catch whatever down there, man. Whatever eats the fish, they'll eat it. So I think this was after my yellowtail. I caught that decent ling. There's Benji working the 60 gram on the calico. And that was my picture. So this is Jeff. Now Jeff he was the only one that caught 2 yellowtail. And he caught them both on the 60 gram. And what was crazy is he caught one early, slow pitching the 60 gram on the bottom, just like a traditional slow pitch, vertical fishing when they were deep. This was earlier in the day. Me and him had those first two. And then when they were boiling on the surface, he caught another one on the same 60 gram, just casting and retrieving. So he was casting and just retrieving the assassin and got bit. So he got two. Same jig, fished on the bottom, one traditional styles of slow pitch, and then one cast and retrieved, almost like a surface iron. He said he was fishing it and got slammed. So he got two yellowtail, both on the 60 on two different styles of fishing. So I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting too. I just love the diversity of the same jig. So there you go. If you guys know, you know. Bending trout rod, that was the yellowtail. That's not even the heaviest slow pitch rod. That's kind of like that medium light one. So, and it picked up that good size yellow. Everybody talking smack on those trout rods, but they get it done. It was John, Courtright. Just, yeah, we had a lot of rockfish caught. Stuff like that. It was pretty cool. So I like seeing all the bycatch, when we were waiting for kind of the big ones to go in. And some things you got to know about the boat fishing, and some of you guys experienced it because some people here haven't fished offshore. They haven't fished for the big game, stuff like that, is that when you're looking for pelagics, the bite just comes on. And I was telling people that like all day, I'm like, look, because it was kind of slow. We had those two. We got those two. It was like 4 hours in. It was already kind of late, right? When we got the two yellowtail. I got a bunch of sculpin and other stuff in between, but it was, I was letting people know. I was like, look, I've been on plenty of trips where it's slow and then it'll happen. Like it'll happen. It'll pop off. And sure enough, it did. We went in between islands. I think we went on was it like the west side, the small one? There was like a shelf or a drop off there. We didn't find anything, but then going back in between there and then that main big island, we found them, right? They just wanted to eat. They came up. Captain Bill was said, make it rain, man. He just started chucking the baits out like crazy, and they came up and they just started boiling. Then it was on surface iron. Everybody just bombing surface irons in. And then I think we hooked 5, or maybe hooked 6. I think we landed 5, and only one was caught on live bait. Everything else was, we got one on the submission, and then I think the rest were on surface irons. I know the kicker surface irons were doing really well. And yeah, that's how we got caught, man. It suddenly, it was like chaos, right? It was kind of slow. And then you just get this hour where it's just nuts, man. Making the bait rain. And he's on the loudspeaker, make it rain. And then bait's going over, people just bombing the jigs left and right, people getting hooked up, going bendo. It's exciting, man. It's just super cool. It makes it all worth it on the end. And fortunately, not everybody scored one, but that's just how it goes. I mean, I've been on plenty of days where I've been the guy without the fish, it happens. And it was just crazy. Now Salty lost his fish. That broke my heart, Salty. I'm going to be honest with you. Salty Dangler, he's been chasing that pelagic dragon for a long time, man. And I didn't know this. I guess he just hasn't had luck catching the pelagics. And man, he got hooked up. I was so happy, dude. I was like, Salty, let's go. And it broke off, went under the boat, and I just lost it, man. But you know what? You learn, right? And you learn from the experience. You get more experience under your belt. I can't tell you how many bluefin tuna I lost before I finally landed my first one. Even the last trip I went on, what did I go? I went 1 for 3. It's like, dude, you just download the information, remember what you did, remember what you didn't do, but you got some experience under your belt. So it's really important that you do that, even though you lost the one and it sucks, but you'll get the next one. You got to move down that rail. You got to shuffle. You got to get the over and under, man. You got to get out of the way quick. You got to get people out of the way quick. It's like, it sucks, man. It happens, but at least you got the pull on one a little bit. We'll get them next time. Next one we get. Catch up on the chat here. The food situation. Okay. The food situation, maybe give a ticket out or something from the meal. Yeah. That was the plan. I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened because I was just pretty much doing it. Kevin helped me out a lot, but normally I have Jessica, my wife, doing a lot of like the administrative stuff and like facilitating things. So I was trying to do it all. I definitely should have, because I know some people, yeah, they missed out on the meal, or maybe they got one afterwards. That's a good idea for sure. If we decide to do the meals. Arnie says, "Hey guys, we have a spot on a charter challenge, October 9th through the 11th, 650, including CCA membership and meals." That's pretty good. It's not too bad of a deal for a 2-day trip. So check out Arnie if you guys want to get on that. How's the new boat? New boat's good. I got the electronics put in. Got a through hull transducer finally. Got an Airmar transducer. Got the Simrad set up. I just ordered the cables. Was at the NM something 2000 cables that they talk. So basically, I can get all the mileage and speedometer and all that stuff through the head unit, engine hours and all that. So that's coming in. I'll probably just do that one myself. But yeah, it's good, man. We were out there. Did you guys get on them, Fernando? Oh yeah, that's right, because you had the CHP trip, right? That's why I couldn't go on that one. That's right. Yeah, I did see that. That's crazy, man. Right? That's nuts. So, which is interesting is, so I wonder what that does for the Dorado bite, because the Dorado, they've gone so far north. That's kind of how they move. They started in San Diego, then they were catching them in Oceanside, then Dana Point, and then like Newport, Davies Locker. Those guys were just killing the Dorado like crazy up there, and now they're going even further. But the water is going to turn. It's going to turn cold. So I don't know. Are they all just, they're going to die up there, or are they going to come back down? We might see. I don't know how this is going to work, but we might see a resurgence of the Dorado because they're all up there, whether they've gone offshore or not. But assuming they have to come back down and they go back down to Mexico, where they go when it's warmer, because they're pretty tropical fish, maybe we'll get another crack at them. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if they're going to go really far west and then down. I don't know. But it'd be nice if they just like came back down on their way to Mexico. Either that, or it's going to get too cold too fast, and it's going to be rest in peace Dorados, and they're not going to make it. But they're pretty smart. I mean, they sense this, water temperatures and changes long before we sense it or anything like that. So it'd be cool, man, if we got a second shot at them, at least for like a week or two. They're making the migration. Carl Black, oos, let's go. Watching my fellow anglers hook up is just good. Yeah, it is, dude. Honestly, like, everybody wants to catch the one, but I agree with watching somebody go bendo is like, it's super fun, man. It's exciting even watching that. Yeah, slow start. Caught 2 good schools at the end, 30-40 pound schools to the last stop. Wrecking the newbies, unfortunately. You know how the wife and I roll 6 yellowfin. I got a bluefin and 2 draw. Oh, interesting. How far down did you guys go? That's crazy. Did you do like one of those 6-hour, 5-hour runs, fish real quick, and then come back? Or were you pretty close? That'd be interesting to see. Let's see. So the trip, the lower, I just got my notes here. Got the lean cod. Yeah, so basically the title of the thing is, you got to learn jig fishing, you guys. And this is where, when it's slow and the fishing is slow, you can't rely on the live bait, because the biggest downside with live bait is that live bait doesn't do what you want it to do, and jigs do what you want them to do. Slow pitch jigs in particular do what you want them to do, and that's just when the bite's not hot. When it's hot, when it's going off, when the fish are stupid, live bait's awesome. You throw it out there, they're going to eat. But we ran into 2 situations where the fish were either down below, they were down in the mud, super, down deep. You can put a dropper loop on and you can send a fish down. And people were doing that, and nobody was really getting bit on the bait, because I did see some people live bait fishing. But you can't really dictate what the bait's doing. You just kind of throw it down and hope you get bit. And then the second situation was, they were out, they were far, they boiled a little bit, but they didn't get too close. They would get close to the boat, but then they would be off the boat. I mean, and you can put a live bait on, and pray to the gods in hopes that it goes and swims to get eaten. Chances are it's not, because they're not fish at this point. They're not stupid eating. They're kind of in that picky phase and stuff like that. And you can't really dictate where the fish go. So it's two ideal situations where you need to learn artificials. And if you're only this group, I don't think has that problem so much. We all fish artificials. Like we're one of these people, right, that like pride ourselves on that. But I know some of you guys out there that just rely on the live bait. You got to be able to throw surface irons. You got to be able to throw slow pitch jigs to get you bit. Like the two that were caught in the morning, they were under us the whole time. The only two bites and the only two fish that we landed, the big yellowtails that we got, were on slow pitch jigs. The slow death jigs was the one. Ironically, it's funny because I caught one on the 220 and then we caught one on the 60. Jeff caught one on the 60. And mine was just very, we were working them hard. And what ended up working for me was a very, very, very kind of slow, soft pace. It was soft lifts, kind of like a quarter crank, soft lifts. I wasn't doing the super high. I started with the high lift, one crank, high lift, one crank. It just wasn't working. When I slowed it down to just a gentle kind of a gentle lift, gentle crank, I do like maybe a half crank, super soft, half crank, super soft, half crank, super soft. Then I would drop it again, half crank. That's when I ended up getting bit, was on just kind of a slight motion, just kind of tossing it, kind of just, I wasn't whipping it up and down the line. I just was kind of bouncing it little by little up the column. I'd only go about maybe 15 feet up and I'd drop it down again and kind of work that zone. And that's how I ended up getting bit on the slow pitch. And even throughout the rest of the day, I got, I think 3 sculpin, got that nice lean cod. And it was funny, I was fishing just the 40-gram sumo at this point, was catching the rockfish, the lean cod, got the bonito. And then the ling I got on the 230, but it was that same slow kind of rocking motion that seemed to be they just didn't want that super erratic lift, and when you're fishing live bait, you can't choose how the bait reacts, and you can't choose what the fish is going to want to eat. So that's why artificials are so important, because you get to control how you're going to fish it. And that was one of those things where I had to change up my baseline. I start with the one lift, one crank, kind of fast. I tried it working fast, and it wasn't until I really just slowed it down. For the other, like all the bycatch, like the sculpin and stuff like that, I was almost just like dragging a 40-gram basically on the floor, and I would just lift it ever so, just a slight lift, and I was just getting bit on it. And there was a part where it was like, I think 4 drops in a row, I was getting fish just with a really, because I knew the yellowtail weren't really there. I was just fishing, messing around with the light stuff. We were in like 60 feet of water, but it was the same thing. Super slow, super gentle, really low lifts off the ground was what I had success with. And then the second time around, when the fish they weren't near the boat. They were quickly, but then they disappeared, right? We did get one live bait fish. There was one yellow on live bait. Everything else was on artificials. And then it became a casting game because they were so far. You need to know how to cast. Bait's just not going to go out there, guys. If it's 50 yards out or further, I mean, maybe you put a bait on and you just hope it swims out there, but the bite just wasn't crazy like that. Even though they were up a little bit, it all became about surface irons and then casting and retrieving the 60 gram. It was the same thing. You got to make it work for you. You got to be able to control it, because you just, if you rely on the bait, I mean, good luck, man. Like I said, when the bite's hot. So it was just kind of the moral of the story is if you don't know how to cast surface irons, you don't know how to slow pitch jig, you really got to learn, because I think it served. I think I honestly believe if we went out and only did live bait, I don't think we would have got we probably would have got like 2 yellowtail. I honestly believe that. I think we got so well, did so well and got so many, even on like a tough bite, because people had the surface irons, people had the slow pitch jigs. And that's ultimately what ended up paying off for the day. And I saw them fishing the live bait. They didn't really want it. They didn't want nothing to do with it. So if you don't know how, just learn, ask somebody, go out there and practice, because the more boats you go on, the better chance you're going to give yourself. And I think it's just really going to pay off for you guys. So that's my 2 cents on that. Tell me what you guys think about that. Yeah, I got the window small. It was funny because Dave Rage, I don't know if he's in here, but he was Dave Rage was next to me. I think it was next to me and Salty, maybe, or me and Roman or somebody. And it's funny. And he had a live bait. He was Dave Rage. He fishes a live bait a lot, and he does really well on it. And he was fishing the live bait, and we were hassling him, and basically we heckled him and shamed him. And then he wasn't catching anything on the live bait. Dude switches to a surface iron, casts it out, boom, got the biggest yellow, won the jackpot. He technically was the second biggest yellowtail because the biggest guy, Roman, he didn't enter the pot, but Dave Rage ended up winning the jackpot right after he put the live bait away and cast the surface iron out. It ended up going and getting slammed and winning the jackpot. And it was funny. He just needed to be shamed a little bit. We shamed him. He put it away. He grabbed the surface iron. But I bet he's glad he did. So that was awesome, guys. It was cool to see so many people. You know, I had this moment where I was kind of on the bow and I was looking down, and you'll probably never see this, like, again in the history of fishing on a sport boat. But I remember looking down and everybody had their slow pitch rods, and they were all, I just saw like 20 rods going up and down with the slow pitch motion. And I thought that was really cool. I was like, I didn't take any video just because I was like so busy doing other stuff. I kind of wish I did, but just that image, I just have this image in my head where everybody was slow pitching off the side of the boat. It was really cool, man. It was a super awesome sight to see. I was like, that's really cool. I bet the deckhands and captains were like, because Captain Bill, he asked me a couple times, like, man, you got to teach me how to do that. I'm like, man, whenever you're ready, man, we'll show you. We'll show you the way of the slow pitch. That was a cool image, man. Just burned into my head with everybody seeing all the rods going up, all the slow pitch rods. It was super cool. It's not something you see on a sport boat every day. Not yet, anyways. I think that's going to change, guys. Once the magic of the slow pitch gets out there, I think it starts. You're already seeing it a lot more. It's already starting to kind of take off. War baits fishing. What's going on after it? Force them to jig. Yeah, dude. You have to. No live bait. We have this thing where we're all about we call it the clean hands. If you got clean hands at the end of the day, you don't have the scales. I mean, you didn't grab a live bait, you didn't put it on. You can be a clean hands fisherman. No scales, no scaly hands. No scales. I struggle with the live bait all summer, except for one trip or two. The jigs just seem to get bites for me. Yeah, I do too, man. I think jigs are where it's at. Well, I did get a bluefin one of the trips with the live bait just because they weren't eating the jigs. It was a totally kind of counter style. They'd come up real quick. They'd come up to the top and eat, but not even fast. Like we were having to. So here's a case where almost the jigs weren't as effective because we were having to soak baits, live bait, like, dude, like 5 minutes. That's when people were getting hooked up. Literally having to let one swim like a quarter mile out. That's how I got my 3 bites, just feeding the line. And that's kind of a reverse situation because, like, you can't get a jig won't work like that. You can't get a jig that far. It's not going to swim. Like I've never had to soak baits for that long, but it was crazy. You had to literally let a fish go long, even though they tell you like, oh, reel it in every 30 seconds a minute. It's like, no, you had to just let these things go and go and go. And then that was the only way like bites were happening because the schools they were so pressured and they were so shy of the boat. It was like soaking a bait and just letting it just go forever was the only thing that was really getting bit. So kind of know the scenario, but other than that, I would say 80% of the time I always catch with artificials. That was like one of the rare times where it was like with a live bait was like the only thing that was working, and it happens. So I had to shame myself. It was once I got home, I went in the little confession box. I had to confess my sins, wash my hands in the holy. I had to wash the scales off with holy water. Yeah, dude, you got your peeps in here. Got the whole fishing rep crew, or half of them at least. The slow pitch wave. Yeah, that's what it looked like, man. It was really cool. You saw the same thing with the rods. Yeah, it would have, huh? It was cool, man. They were all like going off. It was super fun. That's how you got better at it. What, just having to do it? Yeah. Look at all these knife jigs where we're using flat falls last season. Now it's a variety stuff. Yeah, for sure. For sure. We were pitching as the boat slid. Yeah, heck yeah, man. Got to get it on the slide. As long as you know how to get out of the way. Just don't stand there and look at your rod and let it get all tangled up. We even switched to sinker on that trip. How did it work, Fernando? Were you guys having luck on? I know you're primarily a live bait guy, right? But you said you were fishing jigs too. I mean, when live bait's on, it's on. Here's the thing that I've noticed: like when fish are eating the live bait, they're probably going to eat the jig. Not always, but it's like if they're just going, they're blowing up and going nuts on the bait, they're likely going to eat the jig too. But sometimes when the live bait, maybe they'll eat it, but when you can't get the live bait in a situation where you need it to, I think it's just where the jigging has the edge, because it seems like the jigging mostly works. I would say 90% of the time the jigging is going to work when the live bait works, but the live bait's not always going to work. There's like I said that when I went bluefin fishing, there's like that 10% where it's like you got to just long soak a live bait and it's got to be, but aside from that, I just do way better on jigs myself. Maybe that's just because it's the only thing I fish, so it's like maybe I don't have I'm kind of biased, right? I mean, I make slow pitch jigs, so full disclosure. Ooh, Eric Lehman, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Back to work, catch the replay. Damn, you're doing me dirty, Eric. Just put it on the background, dude. Play it for your customers. We'll give them a shout out. Ramona Automotive. Shout out to the customers. Go to the second last comment. It's how I got better at casting irons. Second to last comment. Oh, yeah. Even I go to the park and grab jig setups. I grab surface irons with no hooks to practice hit up the beach like Fiesta. Yeah. Dude, 100%. That's what I was saying a couple shows back. I did the same thing when I got if I get like a new rod or a new reel that I don't know how to cast, especially new reel that's not dialed in and like a new rod or a new setup, I just go out to the jetty in Carlsbad and like just make like 50 or 100 casts on it till it's like dialed in. So you don't want to go to a boat and be like, go to Backlash City. Speaking of rods, I broke my rod. My jig stick snapped in half. So rest in peace. I had a custom M&M custom rod. And what happened was I went to cast and that was coming through. Somebody else, I think they were standing next to me or something. They put their rod back. I'm assuming like they were going to go cast too, but like I was this way and they leaned back to put theirs and I cut through it, snapped in half, rod broke. So I didn't even have, my surface iron was out of commission. My rod was broken. I didn't even have a choice towards the end of the day. So, and you guys got some jig stick recommendations, let me know. I'm probably going to have to hold out for that Taipan action. But yeah, that sucks. So I did lose an expensive rod. So that kind of sucks. Gonna do any bug fishing? I don't think so. I've never lobster fished. Every year I keep saying this is the year I'm gonna try it, but I've never done it. I've never done lobster fishing. I don't know. Probably not gonna do it this year. I don't know. It seems boring. I gotta be honest with you guys. Somebody was saying like the appeal is you can drop pots and then you go fish and then you check the pots. I mean, that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool, but like just setting pots out and then like go and have to find them, like I don't know. And then there's not that many legals. I mean, lobster's not that expensive. You go to Costco and hell, by the time you spend trying to catch these lobsters, it's crazy. I should do it before I say anything, before I judge it, but it really hasn't been my jam. Not saying I won't ever do it. Not saying I won't try it. But I have not. Even one of these days, I have to go out there and test it out. TV Metal Oil, you're on the Jig Strike Monday. Nice, dude. Showing that slow pitch action. Where are you guys going? Way deep. Although Jig Strike's not that big of a boat, right? I don't think they go that far. Yeah, man, it was heartbreaking. What can you do? I mean, it's fish. I've never had that happen though. You know, all my years casting, it was I haven't had that happen. Luckily, it wasn't any of you guys that did it. It was some younger guy. He worked for, what was it, Island Tackle, I think, or Shark Bait. Kevin has to let me know. He's the one that brought him, but it is what it is, man. Nothing you can do about it. Ronald Rots. I'm a believer. 2 yellowtails with the 60 gram. Just bought several more with the. Oh yeah, we were just talking about you. That's right. So this is Jeff. The two yells with the 6 gram. Just bought several more with the $50 gift card. Thank you for the trip. Great to be on the boat with good people. Yeah, dude, it was fun. Glad you had a good time. Justin from Shark Bait. That's right. He was claiming it wasn't him. I was like, dude, you're standing right next to me. He's like, oh, I didn't hit my rod. I was like, it wasn't just the air, man. It's all good. I wasn't upset. That's what happens. So we have the last thing I want to get to. The pickle run's coming up. So we're going from Mission Bay down to San Diego Bay. So we're going on this run. It's about a 20-mile run on kayaks. Some people be on boat. We'll have like a boat. And if you're going to bring jigs, I recommend you bring 60. So there's 2 options you can do. The 40 and 60 gram, if you want to fish jigs, slow pitch jigs or casting jigs, because we're going to be, when you're going down, basically there's kelp the whole way. So you'll hit the kelp line from Mission Bay. This is like what we did last year. We just hit the kelp. So you hit the kelp, then we'll hit the pipe towards the end and then make our way through. So 40 grams, 60 gram, that's usually the money for the kelp. If you guys are looking at interested in jigs, I know some people are asking me what they should bring. That's probably the play. Maybe 130 gram, because if you keep going west, you can actually do rock fishing there. So if you guys want to break off from the path, I don't know how tight will be. There's like a rock ridge from Mission Bay that pretty much runs all the way through. There's like a drop off. So you can go, maybe is it a mile out or something like that? It's not that far. So if you wanted to do rock fishing and go hit some of the rocky areas, that's pretty close too. It's parallel with the shore, but it's just a little further out. It's not that far. Do a 130 if you want to get on the sand bass and rock fish out that way. So get some 40s, get some 60s, and maybe a 130 if you want to go do the rock fish stuff. 20 gram probably gonna be too light. Current's probably gonna be too strong, but yeah, those are kind of my things. The only other thing is maybe some shrimp for sheephead. There is sheephead in the kelp. The gulp shrimp work too, guys. And I know it's funny, but I've tested it and they work pretty well. I've never caught a sheephead on a jig. I've seen sheephead caught on slow pitch. I know it's a thing. I've seen it, so I know they will eat it. I personally haven't done it yet, so I'll probably stick with that. But it's a unique chance to really get some sheephead if you guys haven't fished those yet. I recommend maybe bring some shrimp with you guys. Put it on a Carolina rig. That's one of like the kind of just like the surefire ways to get a sheep is just they love the shrimp. So think about that. Even the artificial shrimp works. Yeah, those are really the only tackle tips I have. As far as the pickle run goes, whatever else you want, your underspins. Those are going to be money, of course. Calicos love those things. There's going to be calico in there too, on the surface. Make sure you're stocked up, but I don't think you'll need much, but a little bit different than the bay fishing. So no real spotties out there. It's a little bit different. So just be prepared for that. Definitely bring something you can cast kind of in there. Make sure you got some heavy duty braid so you don't get tied up in the kelp. Heavy sinkers. You should be good to go. Make sure you get your sheephead permit. Is there a different permit for sheephead that I don't know about? Realistic 3D printed jigs work awesome in this situation. What's that for the sheephead or the kelp? Welcome to the show, Bass Tech TV. Go get some goats. Yeah, dude. If I had autopilot, I would do the pickle run, but hell nah. Not in my old town. Give it a run, man. You got pedals, right? You'd be good. You'd be good. Pickle Run. He said he'll have food and snacks and water. You can reach out to me on channel 69 or 16. Boat is 22-foot Grady White, named My Asylum. So yeah, Captain Dan's going to be the kind of the safety boat. So if you guys need water or anything, let him know. But just prepare. Dude, you got it all day. There was multiple people last year did the pickle run in Big Town or the Old Town. I think Oscar for sure has one. I feel like somebody else had one too. It's fun, man. Just kidding. No sheephead permit. Just stay off my goat. Oh, dude, I was like, did they change a law that I missed? No, dude, we're gonna blow it up. Ain't gonna be no goats left for you, unless you come with us. Come slay them. I haven't caught a single sheephead this year, dude. Last year I obliterated them. I didn't remember we were talking about that. I don't know why, but like, I was on a mission to catch so many sheephead last year, and I can't explain why. It was just a thing. And then this year I haven't caught a single one, but I'm gonna get one. I'm definitely gonna. I'm gonna target that a few times for sure, because I haven't got any this year. Maybe I have. Or not. I can't remember. Maybe I haven't targeted them for sure. Maybe I've caught one on accident. You're working. We'll bring you some. We'll catch you some and mail it to you. The question is how many sheephead metal arts have you done? Have you done any? That would be interesting. It'd be fun too. Let's see. So yeah, that's all I got. If you guys have any more questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. If not, we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys all for coming. Like I said, I gotta go. Gotta go figure out the Florida housing situation. Probably won't know for a few days, but that's what I'll be doing probably the next couple days, next couple weeks after the pickle run, of course. But yeah, prayers out to everybody in Florida. Like I said, even those guys that I know there was lives lost for sure. And houses destroyed, houses flooded. So just keep them in your prayers, guys. You know, if you can donate, help some of the people out there in Florida. I know like Tampa Bay got hit really hard. It was like 100-year storm out there, man. 4th largest hurricane to ever hit Florida. I mean, that's crazy. That's a big hurricane. So I know we got a lot of fishermen there. There's I know because I get messages from some guys out here that watch the show and message me, and they're from Florida. So if you guys probably aren't watching, but hopefully you guys are safe. Hopefully everything's okay. And yeah, man, we just rebuild. That's all we can do. We'll just rebuild, and then we'll have to get everybody together and go do a Florida trip. I'd love to take you guys out there, go fishing in Florida. Go fish some of those reefs, 1,000 feet deep. Go get some big golden tile fish. I think it'd be a blast. All right, guys, we'll see. So I'll see some of you guys Saturday. Hopefully on the pickle run. If not, hopefully submission at sea. We'll do another one. If you guys enjoyed it, I'd love to do a second one next year sometime. So give me guys your feedback. Email me. Tell me what you think. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't see any more questions. So be safe out there, guys. And we'll catch you on the next one. Once again, get those black belts in fishing and slow pitch everything. Oos.